This
Maybe I
conference will
require.
now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to DevOps Training. This is Shadab Akhtar. I'm a software consultant and corporate trainer. In this session, we'll discuss about Docker. And first of all, I want to go for what is Docker. So, Docker packages software into standardized unit called containers. Docker packages software into standardized unit called container that have everything the software need to run, including libraries, system tools, code, and runtime. Using Docker, you can quickly deploy and scale application into any environment and know your code will run. And this is Wikipedia definition. Docker is a computer program that performs the operating system level virtualization and also known as containerization. It was first released in 2013 and is developed by Docker. And Docker is used to run software packages called container. Docker is used to run software packages as called a container. It is very important definition. If somebody will ask you in an interview, what is Docker? You can say Docker is used to run software packages called container. It is written in a Go programming language and licensed binary is freemium software as a service. And is stable release at the time of recording this PPT 18.06.1-CE. You can double check latest version. You can go to the Google, you can check the latest version. An operating system means a Docker support to Linux, Windows, and Mac operating system, all three big operating systems. Initial release in 13 March 2013, and it will work for 64-bit architecture. And now, next, I want to discuss how the Docker will work. So first, what is Docker? Docker is, is a container. Docker is a container for the libraries, packages, and application, etc. How Docker works? Let's understand. You need to understand Docker architecture and theory. First of all, you need to understand kernel primitives. In my case, I want to go ahead Docker. Keep in your mind, as per your requirement, you can proceed. In my case, I want to proceed with Docker with Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux. So in your case or as per your requirement, you can proceed. As I said, Docker is support to the Linux, Windows, and Mac operating system. In this session, I want to go for Docker with Amazon Linux. And you need to understand background process, how the Docker will works. These all are important things. Kernel primitives, Docker engine, understanding namespaces, and control group. Docker kernel primitives. First of all, you need to understand there are two things. For example, this is your base virtual machine. Okay, this is your base virtual machine. In my case, my base virtual machine will be Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux. And on the top of Amazon Linux, you can install Docker. You can install Docker on your base virtual machine. Maybe your base virtual machine will be Amazon Linux or Red Hat Enterprise Linux or SUSE or Fedora or Gentoo or Windows or Mac operating system, etc. In my case, my base operating system is Amazon Linux. In this virtual machine, you are going to install Docker. There are two things. First thing, base operating system, and you will find here a base operating system Linux directories or Linux file system. So Linux file system. This file system will be Amazon Linux file system. Whenever you are going to install Docker, so you will find, file system, file system for Docker. There are two file system on a top of same base virtual machine. First, Amazon Linux file system. Second, Docker file system. So kernel primitives, these all are things I am discussing here about Docker. So low level kernel stuff want to use to build container, and kernel start in a Linux. Linux and Windows are both different platform. Obviously, Docker is a multi-platform tool. It works with three big operating systems: OS, a Linux platform, Windows, and Mac operating system. It is a complete platform. Kernel internals. Kernel internals will help container primitive in a kernel. So if you are going to run, see this blue color, I'm assuming this blue color operating system is a base virtual machine. In this base virtual machine, you are going to install your Docker and you are going to run container. If you are going to run container, this is isolation area for container 1. This is isolation area for container 1. This is isolation area for container 2. This is isolation area for container 3, so on and so forth. So container means if you will search in a Google and you will find isolated area of an operating system with resources uses limit applied. So this isolation will be happen on a top of base virtual machine. Keep in your mind, in my case, base virtual machine will be Amazon Linux. You need to understand two important concepts in a kernel. Kernel makes stuff easy. So there are low-level kernel stuffs. First is a namespaces. Namespaces means it is for isolation. Means namespace provide isolation to the container, and control group provide resource limit for the container. Okay, this is for control group. I said this isolation is provided by namespace, but container need everything is like a normal web application. For example, you want to run your web application on the top of your virtual machine. So web application will use CPU, RAM, etc. Same container needs these resources. So control group will divide it container isolation in a groups. So it is for grouping object and for set a limit. It will set a limit for the container. This container will use a RAM, and this container will use a disk, or this container will use CPU, etc. So namespace in a kernel, namespace is for isolation, and control group set the limit for the containers. So Docker engine. If somebody will ask you, hey, what is Docker engine in a Docker? You will say Docker engine stuffs make kernel stuff easy. Kernel stuff easy. I will tell you in a next architecture how the Docker engine will work. So Docker engine stuffs make kernel stuff easy, and namespace provide isolation on a top of virtual machine, and control group will set a limit for the container. Means a resource limit, CPU utilization, disk and RAM, etc. Let's understand Docker engine architecture. As I already said, Docker engine stuffs make kernel stuff easy, making container easily. For example, you are going to install Docker on the top of your Linux virtual machine or Mac operating system. It means you are going to work by the CLI, command line interface. And whenever you are going to install Docker, so Docker engine will install. So there is API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. So CLI means a command line interface can communicate with the help of API, Docker API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. So if the Docker daemon is running, obviously you need to start a Docker first. With the help of sudo service docker start, you can start Docker, and after that, API will help to communicate from one service to another service, one application to another application. So this time, service to service. CLI service will communicate to the daemon service, or daemon is also service, right? So CLI will communicate to the daemon with the help of API. API stands for Application Programming Interface. And then see here, it is showing Docker container run. This is one of command to run container. If you have image, we will understand later about images. If you are going to run image as a container, you have to give this command Docker container run. And after that, it will create, it will create container, and with the help of API you are going to communicate with the daemon. And whenever container is created, so namespace provide isolation for this container, and control group will set the limit for this container, and container will be up and running. With the help of these commands, means first of all you need to start Docker, and after that you are going to run container, and then you are going to work with the container. This is Docker engine stuff. So Docker engine stuff will help to your CLI to communicate with the container, and then you can work with your images as well as container. Okay, this time is a hands-on time. So if you want to install Docker on the top of your virtual machine, or your laptop or desktop, you have to go to the official site. If you are working with Amazon Linux, most of the time Docker you will find in Amazon Linux library. So hope that you are getting my point. Docker, what is Docker and how Docker works? So with the help of CLI, with the help of API, you can communicate with CLI and Docker daemon. So first, this time I'm going for installation and configuration Docker. This time on Amazon Linux. Amazon Linux. Obviously, you require a base virtual machine. In this case, my base virtual machine will be Amazon Linux. Let me go ahead with my AWS account. This is my AWS Management Console page, and I want to go for EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. It is a virtual server in a cloud. And then, if you want to install Docker, either you have to go for official site to read the documentation, or in case of Amazon Linux, you can go ahead with sudo yum install docker -y. And if you want to verify Docker, then you can go ahead. First of all, you can, start Docker. If you want to start Docker, then you can go ahead with the command sudo service docker start. Service means daemon will start. In normal way, in Windows we can say service. In technical word in a Linux we can say daemon. So sudo service docker start means you are going to start daemon, and it will be ready to communicate with the Docker engine. Okay, and let me go. If you want to verify Docker, that time you can go ahead with docker version directly. You can give. Okay, there are several ways to verify. You can give docker ---- version. You can go ahead with sudo docker version. You can go ahead with docker version. There are several ways to verify. I'm going ahead. This time I'm going for running instance, and I want to connect with this virtual machine. I'm going to select this virtual machine, and then let me go ahead and connect with this virtual machine. I'm going ahead with party session this time. In a party session, I want to go ahead and sudo my mistake. ec2-user@IP address. And I'm gonna click on plus sign, then authentication, then browse my key, and here is my key. I want to go for appearance and then change. I want to go ahead with 12 size. I'm gonna click on OK, and I'm gonna click on open, and I'm gonna click on accept. If I'm going to give here sudo yum install docker -y for yes confirm flag, it is saying that already installed a latest version. Nothing to do. If I'm going ahead with sudo service docker start it, and let me check status. Docker status, now it is in active state. So you can check, this is for status. You can check status with the help of this command. So docker status. As I said that, there are two architectures. Let me discuss about architectures. Architectures means file system. File system. So there are two file system this time. First will be, file system. We know, if you are aware about a Linux, so Linux start with root. Linux start with /. This is, file system for base virtual machine. And then let me check Docker file system. This is for file system for base virtual machine. If I'm going ahead here, I would give a clear command for clear screen, cd and /. This is my present working directory. If I'm going to give ls command, this is architecture. This is file system for my base virtual machine. This is file system for my base virtual machine. So let me keep this information in a notes. It will be helpful for you. This is file system for my base virtual machine, also known as Amazon Linux this time. If I'm going for Docker this time, so let me check cd and user local Docker. Let me find let me check Docker path in Amazon Linux.
Where is Docker? We can search it in terminal, right?
Where libdocker, right?
No,
Wait for a while.
WHER.
Docker. This is the path. This is the path. Sudo
Okay, path is here.
where libdocker. Sudo -i where libdocker. Okay. See. So this is, Docker architecture. I'm just going to keep this time. Okay. Now you can see this is architectures. So first architecture for base virtual machine, second architecture for a Docker. So you will find Docker here in this place. This is, default path for the Docker, var libdocker. And you can check here Docker, directories inside. So you will find these directories. You will find a buildkit, you will find container detail, you will find image, pre-configured image available in a Docker hub. And you will find Docker default network, overlay, as well as plugins, runtimes, swarm, temp, trust volumes. If you want to work with a Docker, you can go and you can, use commands for the Docker. So I want to exit because this is not a good practice to work as a root user, and it is a best practice to work as a normal user or default user. So this time I'm going ahead. For example, first of all, you need to understand about the Docker images. So if you want to work with the Docker image, you require the Docker commands, images command. So you can go ahead with sudo docker image hyphen hyphen help. It will help you to tell you the detail of images. I want to press enter this time. You can see these all are the commands you can use for images. Let's understand image. As I already said, Docker images is a pre-configured templates available in a Docker Hub or Docker Hub registry. You can work with these. So here is Docker images, and you can go ahead with hyphen hyphen help, and it will manage images. And these all are commands you can use for images.
You are in mute, Shraddha.
Uh, am I able to listen? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Now this time I'm going for understanding images and working with images. You need to understand few things. Container is one of component in a Docker.
Actually, we are facing some noise. Your voice is not clear. Too low
Okay,
and noise.
okay, it will be better. Wait for a few minutes, please.
Okay.
So this time I'm going for understanding images and working with images. So few things you need to understand. Container is a component of Docker. Image is a component of Docker. And Swarm is a component of Docker. Volume is a component of Docker. These all are components of Dockers. Let's understand images and working with images. Understanding with images and working with images. I'm going for my personal notes this time, and let's understand managing images. So you can run Docker images uh, as a software. Let's understand here. Introduction to Docker images. Let's understand. Images are read-only templates. Images are read-only template to use to create application container. And images are manifests. Manifest means configuration files with a bunch of layers. And images are shareable. So this is read-only templates. It is a read-only templates, and you can run images with the help of manifest, and it will run as a container. It will run as a container. One of command is a pull command. As I already keep all commands in a help, you can go sudo docker uh, images hyphen hyphen help, and in the help you will find multiple commands. One of command will be pull command. You are going to pull image from the registry. Registry is also one of component in a Docker. Registry is one of component in a Docker. You are going to pull image. You are going to pull image from registry, and it will be available on your platform or on your cloud virtual machine, local, laptop or desktop, or your server, company server. So there is a one layer, a read write layer in a images in a manifest. So with the help of this writes image, all write updates, read write layers, with the help of read write layer, you are going to run your container. So read only templates, right? With the help of in this read write read only templates, you will find one of configuration file that is known as manifest. In a manifest, you will find multiple layers. One of layer is for read write. With the help of this read write layer, you are going to run your container. See, if you are going to run this pull command, for example, this is one of command docker image full redis. Redis, not only the Redis, you can go for Apache, you can go for MySQL, you can go for Jenkins in place of Redis. This is the image name, and this is image command. Docker image pull. And you are going to pull from Docker Hub registry. Docker Hub is a cloud repository for a Docker. And in Docker Hub, you will find registry. With the help of this registry, you are going to download images. And see, these all are layers. These all are layers. And one of layer is for read write layer. With the help of this read write layer, you are going to run your container. See, manifest. Manifest, I already said. Image manifest. Image manifest means image configuration file. And you will find here multiple layers. And if you want to check the deep dive, there is a command in a Docker help inspect command. Inspect command you can use for multiple purpose. But this time you can use inspect command to check image detail description. So manifest file is also known as configuration file. If somebody will ask you in interview what is manifest in a Docker, you can say manifest is a configuration file for the layers and other details. And see, there are two manifest. There are two manifests. If you are going to run command, full command, obviously full command you have to give sudo docker pull, and then it will communicate with the help of API, application programming interface, and you will find fet manifest. Fet manifest means manifest list, also known as manifest list, configuration files. This is the main file. In this main file, you will find image manifest. Image manifest or image configuration file will be different. So first of all, get manifest, either a fet manifest. Inside a fet manifest, you will find image manifest. Image manifest means image configuration file. And then you are going to pull layers. Layers means these layers will be available in an image. Let's understand. Every every layer have a different or unique ID. SHA-256 is for unique ID, unique hash, and C SHA-256. If you'll see with the help of inspect command, you can go to the deep dive about image, and you will find detailed description like configuration detail, layer detail, and many more detail you will find here. Okay, this is a path for architecture, or you can say Docker architecture, var lib docker, and you will find image overlays 2 and layer db database HSA256. If you'll see inside, I'm going for my virtual machine and I want to show you this path. So let me go back to virtual machine where I already run a Docker, right? Okay, so let me restart. I think it is expired. Restart this session. I'm successfully connected. Let me go ahead with, you know, I'm going to switch as a root. Okay, let me go for var lib docker, and then here in this place, I want to go for images also. And let me check with the help of free command. It is a Linux command. You can see the detailed description. You can see the detailed description inside. First of all, you will find overlays to distribution and different ID
Your
values.
voice is too low.
Okay.
I'm not able to hear you. Hello. No, I'm not able to hear you.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I proceed?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, see here, if you will see here in ls, you will find overlays. If I'm going for this overlays, you will find distribution, image db, layer db, etc. So let me come, I'm going to exit from root. Right now, I'm a normal user. If I will check this time, if you want to list your images, that time you can go for this command, ls command. So this is for list images. Here is, I'm going for list images this time. List images. If you want to list all images, then you can go ahead with this command, and you have to give full command, obviously. Sudo docker image ls command. You can list all images available in a docker. So let me go ahead. I want to press enter. See, in my case, I have a multiple images, right? These all are my images. Already I have these images. And see here, you can, download or pull Jenkins, and you can download Alpine Linux. You can download SonarQube. This is for code analysis. You can download or pull Nginx and many more. You can, pull Ubuntu. So this is the beauty of Docker. Means on a top of your base virtual machine, you can download or you can pull your images, you can run, and it is a lightweight in comparison to a normal software or normal tool. For example, one of tool is a Jenkins tool in a DevOps. So if you want to run or install Jenkins in your laptop or desktop or your company server or cloud virtual machine, and there are two things. Normally, you are going to install Jenkins, or you are going to install Jenkins with the help of Docker. So Docker Jenkins will be lightweight in comparison to the normal one. Hope that you are getting my point. So you can download any version. So you need to understand registry. So registry is a one-off component. And with the help of registry, you can download. For registry, you need to understand Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a cloud repository, and you will find here registries. So registries, registry is is for Docker images, and it is components. It is one of Docker component. Docker components. Okay, let me go ahead with Docker Hub. You need to sign up your account in a Docker Hub, and after that you can proceed. In my case, I want to go ahead with this time Docker Hub. Docker Hub. You can go to the official site hub.docker.com and you can log in if you have already an account. If you don't have account, you need to sign up in a Docker Hub. So this is, Docker Hub official URL. Official URL. You can go and you can sign up your account if you don't have a Docker Hub account. In my case, you can see I have already. If you want to register, you can go ahead, right hand side upper corner, you can register your Docker Hub account. In my case, I already have. I'm going ahead with sign in. In a sign in, you have to provide your username as well as your password. I already logged in. So you can see this is my Docker Hub. And if you want to check the images available in a registry, that time you have to go to the explore option. In the explore option, you will find all images. These all are official Docker images. You can see Python, Nginx, and Hello World application, MongoDB, registry, HTTPD, so on and so forth. These all are the softwares or tools available in a Docker. You can pull, you can run, you can work with these all images. If you want to pull, for example, you want to pull, CentOS, for example. CentOS is one of Linux distribution we know well. And then in CentOS, where is CentOS? Let me go to the Explore, and I want to go for CentOS. If you want to pull the latest version of CentOS from the Docker registry, that time you have to run this command, docker pull CentOS. This is for latest version. If you want to go for a specific tag, you can go to the tags. You will find multiple versions of Docker or CentOS. So for example, you want to download a CentOS latest version. I'm going to copy this command, and then this is for CentOS. CentOS Docker image. If you want to pull, in my case, I'm working as a default user. I require a sudo access and then command docker pull CentOS. Let me go ahead and run this command. So in my case, let me check CentOS is available. Oh, it is already available here, right? Latest version. So let me go to the specific version. For example, I want to go for any specific version. We can go ahead with tag. And you will find the different CentOS versions here. You can see this is the latest version, CentOS 7.9.2009. This one is a specific version. If you want to pull a specific version, you can go to the tag CentOS tags. So one of tag or different version is this one. I will come in a home, and then I can go ahead with sudo docker pull and this specific version. Let me go ahead with this command. Sudo docker pull CentOS 7.9.0. These all are layers, right? Fine. If you want to list, you can go ahead with sudo docker images. This is also one of command to check images list. And in this case, this command also you can use for list. I want to keep this command in a notes. It will be helpful for you. Either you can use this command or you can use this command to list. sudo docker images. And then in my case, if you'll focus, CentOS latest version is here, as well as CentOS 7.9.2009 is available here, right? And if you want to, if you want to remove, then you can use rm command to remove one or more images. You can use rm command. So if you want to remove, you can use rm command to remove your images. For example, I want to remove image, so I can go ahead with the same command. This time sudo docker image rm, and then you can give image id, or you can give image name. Okay, so let me go ahead and I want to remove. For example, in my case, I want to remove, then I can go ahead with this syntax, and I want to give image id. So let me go ahead with sudo docker image ls, and for example, I want to remove this one. This is the tag, and this is image id. I want to copy image id, and this time I want to paste here, and let me go ahead and remove. I want to go ahead and I want to remove this image, so showing here untagged, and let me see here showing deleted hashes. Hashes means a unique id. I want to check again. You can see image is removed. So you can use these all commands as per your use case. These all are the commands. You can use a build command to build new image. You can go to the inspect. This time I want to go for inspect command. Inspect command you can use for multiple purposes. So this time I want to inspect image. Inspect image means you can go to the deep dive. So deep dive description, description image, or images you can say. So you can use inspect command for deep dive. Inspect will display detailed information on one or more image. Okay, and then you can use this command. You can use sudo docker image, and then inspect and image id. For example, in my case, I have multiple images. This is for SRVO, device plugin. This is used for Kubernetes. I'm just going to copy this, and let me check this. Paste here, and I want to go for this one. I want to give clear command for clear screen, and you can see the detailed description. If you'll focus from starting, it is saying that inspect an SRIOV device plugin, and it is showing this is such a unique ID, a repo tag, and name of this image is NFVPE, and here is repo digest, and then you will find the detailed description here. This is the detailed description. See, here is a layers. Okay, multiple layers here, image layers. Hope that you are getting my point. And if you want to build your own image, as mentioned here, see, these all are, there are two things related to the images. Let's understand. First, default images. Default images will be available in registries. Registry is a component of Docker. So default registry. So you will find, if you directly you are going to give a command sudo docker pull image name, it will pull latest image. If you want to go for a specific version, you have to go to the tag, you have to double check tag or version, and you can pull as per the version. This all known as default registry images. If you want to build your own image, you can use a build command. So build an image from a Docker file. So you require a Docker file. Docker file you require. A Docker file is a file. You can write down a script. As per script, you are going to build your image, and then you can build this. You are going to keep a script inside this file, and after that, you are going to run a build command. So image will be built. Image will be created. So this image will be known as custom image, or created image, or build image. If somebody will ask you, hey, what are the differences between the default registry images and custom images? So you will say default registry images is managed by Docker community or Docker company, and custom images is managed by the Docker user. For example, this time Shadab Akhtar is a Docker user. I can create image as per my requirement. I can create image with the help of Docker file. Inside a Docker file, you are going to keep a script. As per the script execution, image will be created. In the next session, we will work on Docker file, and I will show you how you are going to build your own image. So this will be the next topic in the next session. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to keep in a last. So working with Docker file. In the next session, we'll discuss about a Docker file deep dive. Docker file, you can, build new image with the help of Docker file. Build an image from a Docker file. So in a Docker file, you are going to keep a script. As per the script execution, your image will be created. And you can use that image for further use. Either you can keep in a local Docker, or you can push from your Docker to the Docker Hub. You can use as a software this Docker file. So it will be enough for my side for today. In the next session, we'll continue with Docker. Thank you so much for today. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, please.
No, I'm good so far. You can send me the notes and videos to that drive.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Chilappan.